Do you notice that Big Bad Mama also misses the point, doesn't understand? Ultimately, intelligent design amounts to nothing more than pointing to holes in evolution. No, it's not pointing to holes. It's going, look, see, there's the design. That cannot be explained naturalistically. It's not a hole. It's evidence that there's a designer. Because we know that design, intelligent design, only comes from a mind. You wouldn't do, I'll give my example of the beach again. If you're walking along the beach and you find something, you don't go, oh, well, we're not sure who the designer is, so we can't jump to design. No, we jump to design because we know it takes a mind to design things. We do it in everything else in life except with life itself and even with the universe, because that means it has to be God. And so we have different rules. You people have different rules for that. You would not do that for anything else. Big Bad Mamba, that is the empirical support. Design requires a designer. Praise, you know what's hilarious to me? Big Bad Mama says Grayson's calmness shows his confidence. Redefine Living is frantic. Yeah, and a rock is calm as well. Whoopie-doo.
A dead man is calm. Yeah.
That's right. A rock isn't thinking. So you see Grayson as having confidence. I see him as being brain dead. But whatever.
The difference is, on my worldview.
Yeah, can I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Notice how she, since she wants to identify as a she, has to change the topic. All right, move the goalposts. You were talking about confidence. Now you're talking about he's an accomplished scientist, so therefore I must be wrong. Yeah, well, so's Jonathan Safdie. Are you as accomplished a scientist and author as Jonathan Safdie? Like, I can play this. If you want to move the goalposts, I can move the goalposts all day as well. Or do you want to actually talk about the science? Right? You claimed that he's calm, therefore that proves that he's right. No, it could prove that he's brain dead. What's your point?
Are you saying, I mean, does Grayson really have a PhD or something? I was curious.
Oh, who cares?
I know. It doesn't mean
it
much.
doesn't prove anything. There's people that have PhDs who are creationists. There's people who don't have PhDs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are evolutionists. So him being brain dead doesn't mean that he's not an accomplished scientist. You can be an accomplished scientist in one area and brain dead in another area. Try and learn to think. Can you put up Big Bad Mama's last comment again? Because I just want to laugh that evolution is established theory and fact. What a load of garbage. No, there is a propaganda war going on in the universities where you're not allowed to disagree with it. It is worshipped. It's become so completely unscientific in researching these things. What evidence has been suggested for evolution? One of the latest ones was bacteria being able to digest citrates. And then they did more research and they claimed that this was a new trait that they didn't have before. They did more research and found that, it is present there, but it's just a very low percentage of the population that has this ability. If you give them enough generations, then the ones that can't digest citrates die out, and then eventually the whole population is only bacteria that can digest citrates. It's not a new trait. I mean, I don't know how you find out that it's a new trait. How do you do that? Do you put cameras inside every single bacterium and keep photographing their DNA to make sure that there's no bacteria in the sample that can digest citrates? Loss of information. Always. Only what they ever find is loss of information. Darwinism is dead, but it's kept alive because the universities have been turned into the worship centers for Darwinian evolution or neo-Darwinian evolution. And you're not allowed to disagree with it. You know, it's hilarious to me how these people lie. I'm not dismissing the evidence. Why are you lying? See, this is why it's a waste of time to talk to these cretins. I say words, they don't hear the words that come out of my mouth. They hear me dismissing the evidence. I'm not dismissing the evidence. I'm dismissing your lies about the evidence. How about you go to creation.com and see all of the evidence that refutes your claims about that evidence? I bet you won't. And yet evolution gets shoved down my throat, but you don't want to investigate the other side.
Indeed.
I have investigated the other side. Don't lie to me.
Okay, let's just go through these. Geology. What about diamonds? What about, carbon-14 in diamonds? What about carbon-14 in dinosaur bones? What about, you can just go on and on. Fossils? Are you serious? And then fossils. What about blood cells and fossils? I even have a little clip here from an actual scientific source that even it basically, puts a huge hole or gap into this evolutionary thinking. So there's blood cells of dinosaur or fossils, morphology, and then it's not only that, but then Bag Bad Mommy talks about morphology. So you're talking genotype, phenotype. I mean, what about the genotype? Why does it have to be the phenotype? So you have to address the genotype first, or then stratigraphy. I mean, DNA relationships. Are you talking about common ancestry? Why is it not common design? That doesn't make any sense that we're related to a tomato. Radiometric dating. There's so many holes in that as well. And then modern genetic experiments. I don't know what the hell that means. Biogeography. That's some more made up crap. Plate tectonics. I mean, all this stuff actually, plate tectonics, really young Earth Creationist show hints more at the catastrophism, not uniformitarianism. I mean, so that's out the window. We can throw that out. Biology. What about biology? Ecology. So this is where Richard Dawkins goes. Okay, like what about ecology? Oh, you're just throwing out terms. They're just throwing them out.
Just straw man. So why is a small amount of soft tissue? There shouldn't be any soft tissue at all after 65 million years. No, it's about as convincing as the people around the cross. Come down from the cross and we'll believe. No, you wouldn't. You're liars. Where's that video? If only I had a brain. That's Big Bad Mama's song. And then Big Bad Mama says, you say there are holes in every science that contradicts your literal interpretation of the Bible. That's about as stupid as a geocentrist back in Copernicus's day saying, you're rejecting cosmology. No, he's correcting cosmology. He's not rejecting the science. He's rejecting the false claims made by some scientists or supposed scientists. I'm not rejecting the science. I'm rejecting the claims made in some sciences, made in many of the sciences when it comes to origins.